Okay, sweetie. Now, y'all remember we talked about this. And I told y'all how I do not like the way they pretend as if people are friends or cool on the show. You know, bringing in Mimi through Sweet Tea, acting like they was friends, acting like they was cool and all of this, right? And then when Mimi flips, now all of a sudden Mimi looks like a weirdo, okay? So this was Sweet Tea coming on to let us know. Somebody said, in another thing, Mimi nor her long chin husband are your friends. He does have a really strong, he has a strong chin. He does. Sweet Tea says, we were never real friends. They were cast and we were asked to invite them onto the show. There were even plans for me to film in her office, which I refused. I heard it through the grapevine that they wanted to have a storyline with me seeing Mimi and painting me to be crazy. Funny how some call themselves real friends, yet plan an entire season without even consulting you of what the plans are. Now, Sweet Tea girl, I'm telling you, I do not like I don't disbelieve, right? I don't disbelieve you here. Okay. I do believe that they may have been, trying to make you look crazy, but I also feel like based on what we understand, you were making yourself look crazy. You were making yourself look crazy because you were out of control of yourself. Okay. And you and your husband had that in common. Y'all both get upset, get in y'all feelings, and now y'all are not acting in control of yourselves. Okay. I don't really know too much about Mimi. I don't know if she'll be back, considering the fact that we really did not see anything from her, but how she was being implemented into these scenes, whether to be on Sweet Tea and Greg's side or to be on the group side. I don't know if she'll be back because Married to Medicine loves to bring somebody in and then take them off and, never to be seen or heard from again. Okay. She says, I chose to go my own route and film what was authentic to me, not anyone else's storyline. I think when I took a different approach, people didn't know how to handle it. So they grasped at anything to create a false narrative against me. What's false? What's false? If you actually went and had that therapy session with Mimi, I think what you were actually scared about is that they were going to pull out of you what's going on between you and Gregory, because you feel like you want to protect Gregory from whatever abuse claims people are making about him. You were not going to film that scene. That had nothing to do, I feel like, it's my opinion, I don't think it had anything to do with making you look crazy. I think they were trying to save you. They were trying to give you a way out. I think a lot of the women on the show were trying to give Sweet Tea a way to separate herself from Gregory. And because that was causing issues inside her household, because she is the wife, she doesn't want to do that. Well, like, what do you want from everybody? What do you want from everybody? When Contessa and all of them was like, do you want to stay? Maybe you should, try to have a conversation with Gregory or separate yourself from what he's doing. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to stand beside your man. Well, that's what you did, baby. That's what you did. That's why we saying you should just go ahead and leave the show if that's what you want to do, because you and Gregory are complaining about what it's like being on the show. Somebody was like, well, why should Quad leave the show? Why? Quad has been on the show since the show has been on. And it doesn't matter that she's not married to Medicine. She's a part of the show. I don't know why y'all keep going back to that. Also, Quad never complained about being on the show. Quad's issue was y'all trying to kick her off the show. Quad has always showed up when it was time to tape for Married to Medicine, whether they wanted her to be there or not, which tells me Quad wants to be on the show. So why should she leave? Sweet Tea and Gregory are complaining about being on the show. That's the reason why it's like, well, if it's all of that, if you're having such a hard time, go ahead and leave then, girl. Go ahead and go. It is very simple. But to me, I feel like you keep trying to protect Gregory when the show and the women on the show are trying to give you a way out. That's what it feels like to me. You don't want to take the way out because you want to stand beside your man. Well, understand that you're going to have to roll with him till the wheels fall off. You can't be mad at the women. You can't be mad at the show because they're asking you to separate yourself from him because he's causing issue with you being on the show. if you really want to be on the show. And I think she does. I think she wants to be on Married to Medicine. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna need for Sweet Tea to figure it out. Either you want to be on the show or you don't. Either you're gonna be a grown woman and be able to create some separation between you and your husband, or you're gonna stand beside him. But you can't do both. Figure it out, because you confusing the shit out of all of us. Okay. And that's just my opinion on it. So let's move on.